Hello everyone, so I wanted to review my bike after 6 months of riding it, but riding it from around 1800 miles. I made a quick unboxing around a month or two ago. I don't want to go into too much detail of the specs. I will post a link to the Canyon website and where I bought it from. I just want to quickly go over why I upgraded, why I chose this Canyon model in particular, and some of the features that I like and dislike, its general ride feel, and some of the cons that I've experienced and customer service experience with Canyon as well. So I've mentioned that it's the Canyon Endurace CF SL 8 Di2 and it's the Aero version, so top of the range of the Endurace. You can get this in an aluminium frame as well. So the Aero version, the major difference, as you'd expect, it has the Aero handlebar, which is fully integrated and it's carbon. You've got the carbon wheel set that comes with it, so those are the two major differences. Seat post is carbon as well, so predominantly it's a fully carbon bike. The bike originally came with the Physique saddle, which I've upgraded. Just so it's more comfortable for myself. I didn't really feel that I fitted well to that, but that's obviously a very individual choice. I mentioned the wheels, and these are running 28mm Ischion Pro UST tyres, which are absolutely really comfortable and adds to the overall bike feel, which is great. One of the things that I'd say is a con, unfortunately, is that the bike didn't come tubeless ready. However, I've upgraded those to tubeless valves, so now I can run them tubelessly. But obviously that's an individual preference. So one of the key features that makes this a comfortable bike to ride is the leaf spring design seat post. It's quite unique it's unique to Canyon, and some people either like it or hate it really, and I have found it super comfortable. It really takes out some of the road vibration, some of the road buzz that you get, and just makes the overall feel better. And I also mentioned the 28mm tyres, which this bike has plenty of clearance for, I believe. Don't quote me on this. You can fit up to 32 millimeter on here tyres, so absolutely loads of clearance. Also need to fit a mud guard on that, especially with all this winter riding. I mentioned that it's the full Ultegra group set, which is fantastic, and it's Di2 gear shifting. Well, I went from the Tigra I mentioned earlier, that I've chosen to upgrade to a Canyon, and the reason being was purely based on excellent reviews all round. There's nothing wrong with the Cannondale per se, although it was just an entry level bike, and it's something that I was looking to move on to for some time. So having a full Ultegra group set means, well, the disc brakes are fantastic. It's just really works well altogether. So you've got fantastic shifting, as I mentioned, because I can't complain about Di2 at all. It's just really works very efficiently, and you can tune that up. If you need any more details on Di2 and tuning, I can make a video later on, or feel free to post some questions below. On the topic of Di2, all I say is don't forget to charge. I did have an issue after riding. I didn't charge the bike, and the front derailleur failed to move onto the big ring, so I was out on a bit of a long ride, and I had to come back on the small ring, which was a bit tedious. So I've kind of run through some of the features, and I skipped past why I moved over from the Cannondale. I did mention that it was an endurance bike as well, and I was looking for something a bit more racier, so that was another reason why I moved over. because this is the Endurace, although it's their endurance version. If you split the word up, it's endurance and race, so it's kind of a 50-50 split with its compliance, and the way it feels is just a lot more speedier, racier than my old bike. So if you're looking for something that will give you comfort, looking for something that is going to be a bit quicker than your current bike, hugely recommend it. I cannot floor it in that sense at all. And it's, as I mentioned, or will post, this is 7.7 kg. It has a 960 gram frame. It is just really, really, really light. I cannot fault the bike. I cannot fault the bike at all. There are sort of no issues that I've really found after riding it for 6 months. So I'd say it's pretty clear to say that I'm happy with the bike and how it feels, and its comfort is something I've mentioned a couple of times, and that it's quick. Obviously, being light is great up hills as well. I guess the only thing I would point out in terms of cons, or very small cons, if I was to nitpick, and that would be where the Di2 box is fitted. It's just under here, so that's kind of the older style. Can't quite see it, but because I've got my light in the way, I would personally have it here, which I might choose to upgrade in the handlebar. So that is another component that I can get. And also mentioned that it didn't come tubeless ready, so again, very, very small nitpicks, I'd say. Other than that, this is a fantastic bike. Absolutely, like I said, cannot fault the way it handles. Its agility, it just gives me loads of confidence with huge 160mm rotors on the back and front and hydraulic disc brakes. So everything you need for something, for sort of an all-purpose bike, all-rounder. So very quickly then, I just wanted to talk a bit about my experience with Canyon. There's lots of mixed reviews about how they aren't the best, always the best of service, but I've actually didn't really have too many issues. I'd say if you can get to speak to them on the phone, it's much easier to resolve any questions that you might have about your order. So get their local number. I will post that number as well for the UK, where I'm based. I'd say their chat support is on the whole pretty good, depending on who you deal with. It depends on who you deal with and how much it might not be as efficient to get the answers that you want. For example, when I was asking about the wheels and whether they came tubeless ready or whether they could supply it, I found it was slightly bit more tedious to get an answer, but you would do when you're speaking to someone via chat than telephone. Yeah, so on the whole, I'd say Canyon have been great in terms of their service. I had a small scuff on the bike. Well, you can't see it now because it's covered in mud when it arrived, and they said they would credit me some money to my account, which was nice of them. There was just a minor scuff on the derailleur here, which you can barely see. So I was happy with what they offered. Can't complain about that. Or any real complaint is that they just don't have enough bikes in stock at the moment, because their lead time has increased to about 3 to 6 months. So I think that's across the board with massive demand for bikes at this moment in time. So there you have it, guys. Very, very quick overview of the bike and how it feels after riding it. 1,600, what did I say? However many miles, 6 months of ridden it. Hasn't hasn't really caused any issues for me at all, apart from when I said I needed to charge up the Di2, which is just a user error really. Go out and get one. Go out and get one, I'd say. And even if it's not the top end model like this, aluminium frame is basically the same shape, so the geometry is all the same. Obviously it'll feel slightly different to the carbon frame. You can get the carbon non-aero version as well. There's quite a few variations to this. I would definitely recommend it. Thank you. Thanks for listening and checking out my post. Feel free to comment below, or if you've got any questions, and all the usual.